I hope you all enjoyed or enjoying your meal. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. At this time, I would like to recognize one of our special guests, Dr. Marianne Louderback. Marianne is both a member of the College of Education Hall of Fame and the Illinois State University Board of Trustees. Thank you for joining us tonight to honor our distinguished alumni. Before we begin tonight's program, I would like to thank Campus Dining Services for preparing a wonderful meal for us this evening. I'd also again like to thank Dr. Favis for playing for us tonight. Thank you. In 1857, Illinois State Normal University began with the purpose of training teachers for Illinois schools. Throughout the years, educator preparation at the university has maintained its commitment to cultivating the best educational leaders in the nation. Today, the College of Education boasts an alumni community of more than 45,000. Another 13,000 Redbirds graduated from education programs housed in the Colleges of Arts and Sciences, Fine Arts, Applied Science and Technology, and Business. Collectively, these educators serve in P20 education positions in all 50 U.S. states and in 62 countries around the world. Some of our recent news includes a $12.5 million grant secured by the Center for the Study of Education Policy. The center will be working with districts across the state to help principals to become more involved in instructional improvement in their schools. Last month, we began training on our new grant-funded eye tracking equipment. The state-of-the-art technology was acquired through a grant written by our faculty members in the Borg Center for Reading and Literacy. We are one of 10 labs to combine this technology with miscue analysis and one of only 3 with the highest level of eye tracking. Our lab will be the source of extensive research for studying how vision and perception relate to comprehension in reading. Our success in this area is truly outstanding. Each year, the College of Education's grant awards represent over or equal to half of the external funding secured by the entire university. As President Dietz states, enrollment is strong and stable. Over the past 3 years, educator preparation at Illinois State has remained steady at almost 4,200 students. That makes us the nation's 6th largest university for teacher education preparation. Here in the College of Education, graduate program numbers continue to be steady by increasing more than 12% in fiscal year 2017. To us, these numbers demonstrate that educator preparation remains a central part of the university's mission. We are very proud of our alumni and the contributions they have made to the education profession. On this 97th homecoming celebration, we are honored and humbled to induct 3 of our most distinguished graduates into the College Hall of Fame and recognize 3 more outstanding young alumni award recipients. Before we introduce them, I would like to call attention to members of previous Hall of Fame classes and the outstanding young alumni award recipients who are with us tonight. I ask for you each to stand when I call your name or wave your hand. Please hold your applause until all past awardees have been introduced. Edna Basic, Thomas Bertrand, Mary Camp, Frank Kyoto, Thomas Eddy, Jean Jontry, Marianne Louderback, Deanna Perkins, Kristen Ritchie, Peter Ritchie, Anna Marie Yates. In addition, I would like to recognize the faculty, staff, retirees, and alumni who have joined our celebration. Thank you for being with us this evening. It is now my pleasure to introduce our newest Hall of Fame inductees. Each inductee will receive a commemorative plaque and will have their names displayed in the College of Education in perpetuity. Inductees, after I finish your introduction, Please come forward to receive your plaque and to say a few words. J. Michael Durnall's many professional accomplishments are a testament to his diverse leadership skills. He began his career here at Illinois State as a residence hall director. He would go on to serve in crucial student affairs roles for St. Mary's in San Antonio, Elmhurst College, and Roosevelt University in Chicago. During his 15 years with Roosevelt, he helped the university redefine its mission and secure strategic resources and partnerships. In 2008, Michael changed course when he accepted a position with the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, known as GLAAD. During his tenure as vice president and interim president, the organization established long-term financial sustainability and a new strategic plan. In 2010, he returned to the field of education as the president and CEO of the Simon Youth Foundation. Located primarily in Simon malls throughout the country, the organization helps non-traditional high school students earn their GEDs. Through Michael's visionary leadership, the organization now supports more communities and students than ever before. In addition to this work, Michael is an ACE fellow, and a U.S. chair for Ditch the Label, an international effort focused on eliminating bullying. In his nomination letter, his longtime colleague said, in quotes, "His natural curiosity about others, his effusive personality, and his sincere desire to help his community makes him a highly sought-after committee member, board member, and leader. Michael approaches each of these interactions with an educator's heart, seeking opportunities to increase the capacity of individuals and organizations so that they're able to advance their goals more effectively on their own. Michael Durnall, the College of Education is proud to induct you into its Hall of Fame. Please come forward to receive your plaque, and Dr. Sutton will be presenting that. The mic is yours.
Thank you. They told me that I had 20 to 30 minutes for comments, but I thought I would be brief. And honestly, I don't like to correct someone who introduces me, but it's an important fact for me, actually. We don't give GEDs at the Simon Youth Foundation. Our students actually receive regular high school degrees that add them to going on forward to college. So just, as an educator, I value that college or that high school experience. So I'm sorry, Dean, not to do that to you, but thank you so much for that, the very kind introduction. And family, friends, faculty, fellow alums, and fellow awardees, thank you so much. I'm so humbled to be here back at Illinois State, where I started 38 years ago this fall as a freshman, a wide-eyed freshman who made the big trip 45 miles north from Decatur, Illinois to come here. Today at lunch, when Doris was speaking and the president was speaking, to know that I was at an event where Abraham Lincoln, Jesse Fell, Charles Hovey, Dr. Bone, so many others were referenced, and so many other spirits that still fill this campus, and probably even DeGarmo Hall, too. So, the theme of homecoming struck me as I tried to put together some remarks for this. And as Dean was so kind to mention about some of the things that I've done and been able to accomplish, it really is just a reflection of everything that I've learned and the legacies that I carry forward from being here at Illinois State. What my biography doesn't tell you is something that I'm actually quite proud of. My father dropped out of 8th grade to help his family during the war. He was the youngest child in a family whose older brothers were at the war. My mom graduated high school. She was one of 12 in her graduating class, and we often chided her when we were little that everybody in her class was a relative of some sort. She graduated from Stonington High School on a Friday night in a dress that she paid for by washing dishes for the local seamstress in town. She was 17 years old. She'd married my dad on Sunday. He was 19 in the same dress. And, sorry. Anyway, sorry, oh God, I'm an emotional mess. Without my parents, I'm not sure where I would be. But they valued education, even though they never had anything beyond what they had learned for my mom to 12th grade and my dad when he dropped out of school. So, and I also want to thank my family for being here tonight. Means a lot to have you all with me. And especially my husband, who is always there for me. So I'm the lucky one in all of that. But I am, and through the kindness of those who nominated me for this award and wrote letters of support, I feel truly blessed. Chris, Michelle, Rena, Elizabeth, Marilyn, Taryn, and Marlon, thank you so much for all of your grace in dealing with this old man. So the legacy plays out through the names familiar to many of these in the rooms. Faculty members who shaped my philosophy of education, quite frankly. Dr. Hickrod, Mary Ann Lynn, David Franklin, Bill Zeller, Ron Lehman, and Paul Baker, and Ron Reigel. I'm still trying to wrap my head around some of the stuff that he taught me in foundations classes to figure out that material, And I remember two teachers from my K-12 program in Decatur, Illinois, starting with my elementary school principal, Roy O. Schilling, who had been a graduate of Illinois State University, and probably my favorite teacher, Shirley Shaywitz-Kissler, in my entire life. And I had to laugh as I prepared to get ready for these remarks today, and coming back to state, I was amazed to learn that Bloom's taxonomy had been updated for the 21st century. I was actually amazed by that. When you Google it, it says, do you want the 2006 version or the 1959? And it just made me feel really old. But I'm happy to learn students still have to take 100 hours of pre-service for secondary education, sequence and methods courses. And I'm so old, I was laughing today during we were singing what we used to call the hymn, they call the alma mater now, and the fight song. The words were different to the fight song than what there's in the program today, but the alma mater still had ISNU in it when I was here. That's how old I am. And Avanti's didn't open until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. What a shame. But anyway, I always remember, though, one important lesson from my educational psychology class that I learned very early on was that, it's basically the teacher's Hippocratic oath. It's that of sort of that sacred relationship we have with our students, and that teachers must always have sort of this position of non-maleficence, that we should not allow our students to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is our charge. I learned that here. I learned that here at Illinois State, and I carry it forward in everything that I try to do. So back where at the beginning, I think for me, it always comes back to Chaucer's quote, "And gladly would he learn, and gladly would he teach." And I hope that I can be my legacy for me. So thank you all very much.
Well, it wouldn't be an event with a room full of educators if I wasn't corrected once or twice. So I feel apologies are all mine. Ardith Kleindienst has dedicated more than 40 years of service to advancing special education practices for students with disabilities. In both Indiana and California, she developed 2 of the state's first programs to serve students with autism. She was also an early adopter of the full inclusion model during the 1980s. The standards she set as a co-teacher lifted the quality of instruction delivered by both in-service and aspiring teachers. At advocate schools in Southern California, Artie created district-wide instructional standards for students with behavioral disorders. She also created teacher training modules that aligned to these standards. She was asked to replicate this successful program for several private schools in Hawaii. In 2002, she accepted a position with the Riverside County Office of Education, also in Southern California. As coordinator and principal, she was responsible for 25 county classrooms that serve students with disabilities. Artie was also an original member of California's Positive Environment Network of Teachers Cadre. The group, known as PENT for short, helps public school educators effectively implement positive behavioral supports. In her nomination letter, the following was said about Artie. Her extensive expertise was depended upon by many, but Artie's greatest asset by far was her love and support for all students, something which I and my assistant dean witnessed firsthand when we visited her a couple years ago. She was child-focused first. She worked tirelessly to assist all students in meeting their IEP and behavioral goals and treated everyone with kindness. She in turn was able to gain their respect and admiration. Artie, the College of Education is proud to induct you into its Hall of Fame. Please come forward to receive your plaque.
Well, now that I'm the short person up here. Okay, that's good, that's good. I want to thank everyone for this great honor, especially the committee, and that includes Dr. Perry Schoen, Liz Adams, and Dr. Diane Dean. But there was one professor when I was here at ISU, a criminology professor, Dr. Veeder, who inspired me to follow my passion working with students in the juvenile justice system. Beyond that, going into special education, what I can say is that the coursework at ISU is what gave me all the opportunities that I had for the many careers that I followed for over 40 years. Being in special ed for over those 40 years, I never burned out. I was never tired because I was there for one reason, and that was for the students. I do want to thank my children, Joshua, Lucas, and Maya, for the countless hours that Mom was away and missing a lot of their school activities. I want to thank my husband, Richard, for believing in me and pushing me out of my comfort zone, telling me that I could do more teaching outside of the classroom. Didn't think I needed my notes. But all that I accomplished was due to having a team. And that's been my belief system as long as I was working, whether it was having a team member on the maintenance crew or a team member in the cafeteria or a team member in my classroom. I've always had someone there working with me to make sure that the students were well taken care of. But I do think that ISU opens those doors for those possibilities. The fact that Liz and Perry and Ken came to visit me across country and sat in my little office in California really shows how ISU reaches out, and they do reach out to educational communities so that we can continue. The last 13 years before I retired, I was a principal of special ed programs, and I had a team that inspired me to do more than I thought I could. My team was not only committed to our programs, but they were selfless. My school nurse, Karen Radke, could be seen taking parents and children to doctor's appointments because they didn't have transportation. My school psychologist, Moana Hendricks, could be seen holding IEP meetings in the families' homes because they didn't have transportation. And my school secretary, who was not only my right hand and my left hand, she's my soulmate. She was there for parents early in the morning and after school if they had daycare issues. She could be seen with me on a Saturday picking up nails and screws and tools that our maintenance department had left behind so that we would be ready to open the doors on a Monday morning. It's my team that kept me going, and so I thank you for this honor for my team and for special ed. Thank you.
Pamela Rosa's career is a shining example of what happens when award-winning educators are equally passionate about lifting up others in the profession. Early in her career, Peoria Public Schools selected her as one of its reading recovery teachers. She served in the diverse leadership role for 2 separate schools. The work involved being the school improvement lead, grant writer, and acting principal. In 1994, the Illinois State Board of Education hired her as a school improvement consultant and coach. Pam supported 42 districts on a wide array of professional development and programming. Following this work, she was hired by Pekin Public Schools as the Director of Professional Development and later as a principal. Under her leadership, Dirksen Primary School earned numerous awards for school improvement. The next step in Pam's career was with the Consortium for Educational Change, a nonprofit think tank. During that time, she also became a charter member of the Danielson Group. She would work directly with Charlotte Danielson to implement the framework for teaching in school districts. 5 years ago, Pam established ROSA Educational Consulting. The organization delivers pre-K through 12 professional development to schools across the nation. Her colleague used the following words to describe this Hall of Fame inductee. Dr. Pam Rosa is an example of what is right in education. She is an inspiration to others who are excited about their teaching and leading. She has great passion for teaching and learning and holds herself and others accountable and responsible to do what is best for students. Pam, the College of Education is proud to induct you into its Hall of Fame. Please come forward to receive your plaque.
I appreciate so much this opportunity, this honor, and also this responsibility to be able to be a role model for other educators and workers in this very challenging but very powerful career called teaching. I travel around the nation. I get around, professionally that is, and I work with all levels of teachers, instructional coaches, and principals. And I often use the number 7 as a way to really bring out principles of practice in education. So I'm going to use 7 tonight as a magical number. And that 7 represents 7 teachers in my life who, if I'm worthy of this award, of this Hall of Fame induction, is because of their teaching and the lessons that they've taught me. My first teacher, of course, was my parents, Jan Reimer and Bob Reimer. They taught me to have high expectations, no matter what. I thought that everyone had this mantra in their lives: good, better, best. Never let it rest until good becomes better and better becomes best. That idea of really taking what you have and being able to stick with it is something that I owe to my parents. So my first lesson was high expectations. My second teacher is my husband, John Rosa. He's taught me about constancy of purpose, really being able to think about all the opportunities, but also the challenges and figuring out what is worth it in our work. I think as educators, we need that more than ever to really think about what is our passion, what is our purpose, and John helps me figure that out each and every day, that constancy of purpose. My third teacher is my 2 sons, Robert Rosa and Jack Rosa. They teach me about constancy of joy, and that idea that joy comes from each and every step, big and small, being able to really nurture and see something grow from little tiny boys that had really brown, chubby faces to now amazing men who are living out their dreams. I think each of us hopefully has that next generation that we are guiding and supporting, knowing and growing. And they have taught me joy. My fourth teacher are my sisters. I have amazing sisters. They have suffered with me 53 years. Within those ups and downs, something that they taught me that I can't even spell, I had to ask my son about this in case I had to check my notes, tenacity. Tenacity in that they know a problem opportunity. They have each gone through often challenges, but yet have always overcome any diversity and stuck with it. They model what it is to really know what to do and how to be a good person and to help others. Their tenacity is what I admire most in each and every one of them. So my fourth teacher, of course, my fourth teacher, I'm holding my numbers here. Yes, my fifth teacher, don't worry, this will be almost ending. My fifth teacher is teachers. I have to read you the statement. It's something that I use almost every time I work with new teachers. And he said, does this sound like something that you want to be a part of? It comes from being able to take Lee Schulman's word, a premier school psychologist as well as educator from the University of Michigan and then Stanford. And he describes teaching in this way. For you in the audience that are teachers, see if this sounds familiar to you. Teaching is maybe the most complex, challenging, demanding, subtle, nuanced, and frightening activity our species has ever created. The only time a physician could experience a similar environment would be in the emergency room during a natural disaster. Well, I go on to say just a little bit more. You know, that emergency doctor, highly trained, highly respected. Now we could go into that, but we won't. But there's some real stark differences in that emergency room versus our classrooms. Is that emergency doctor works on one patient at a time. We would call that tutoring in education. We work with a lot of kids really fast. The second thing that I pull out and mean very sincerely is that emergency doctor is usually working in triage. They have multiple experts around them working on one patient. We look around in our classrooms, we say, it's me, myself, and I. I have to make thousands of decisions very fast and hope that they're good ones. And the third decision, or the third thing that's very different is if that patient gets a little bit unruly, you can legally sedate them. We can't do that in education. Hopefully never, and at least not yet. So in that idea of teaching, that is my school teachers from my earliest grades until now. I have been surrounded by amazing teachers, many of them ISU grads. And within that teaching, they know that it's demanding, subtle, nuanced, and frightening, yet they keep coming. For those of you in the audience who are new teachers, stay with it. We need you. And it's not going to be easy, but it is the best career. For those of you who are teaching now and have been in it for a long time, thank you. This is hard work. It's never going to be easy, but we know we make a difference. And for those of you in the audience who are yet to be teachers, it's never too early and it's never too late. So teachers really taught me the idea of focusing in, building bridges with all that I work with. My last two, and of course the reason I stand here tonight is because of the College of Ed. I went through 4 different career changes before finally my counselor at ISU said, Pam, I think you could be a teacher. What do you think about that one? I'm like, all right, I'll try it, but my sister's becoming a teacher. And so, thank you to that. I could not remember the name of the counselor, but as soon as I started at ISU in the College of Ed, I knew I had found my dream job. And so through my bachelor's, my master's, and now continuing to work with the Center for Educational Study, I get the opportunity to continue to grow and know and work and be able to support. So that's a discovery. The college has made me discover all the different possibilities. And I think there are endless ones for us to be able to work on. And so the last one, the last teacher that I have is called change. In education, we are at a real crossroads of change. It's never going to ever be like it was, and we don't know exactly where it's going to go. But I do have a word of hope. Eric Hoffer shares, in times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. So in my magical 7 teachers, along with the gifts of high expectations, constancy of purpose, finding joy in each and every day, tenacity, focus, discovery, and now change. If I am worthy of this award, if we are worthy as a college of doing great things, it's because we have always put first learning and then teaching. Thank you so much.
I have just added legal sedation to my administrative toolbox. Rebecca Gonzalez was unfortunately unable to be with us tonight, but I would like to share a few words about her outstanding work in the field. Rebecca participated in the university's year-long professional development school program. After interning in Auburn Gresham and Little Village during her senior year, she took a position with Rudyard Kipling, located on Chicago's South Side. Over the past 6 years, she has become a model teacher for the unique ways she has been able to partner with outside organizations to enhance student learning. Among those collaborations is her work with Hip Hop Detox. The national nonprofit has helped her students to develop their critical thinking skills through poetry and music. Rebecca's dedication to her students extends far outside the classroom. She helped to create an after-school math and science club that is supported by the Illinois Math and Science Academy. She also organized After-School All-Stars, which provides small group literacy and math intervention for learners who need some extra help. Beyond this work, she is an integral member of her school's leadership team. The following was said about Rebecca in her nomination letter to the college. Rebecca diligently works to perfect her craft to meet the very needs of the students that she services. She continues to strive to be the best that she can be. She is a natural leader who spearheads her grade-level team during the decision-making processes. Please join me in congratulating Rebecca. Ray Hewitt is focused on bringing educational communities together to solve problems and move practices forward. Like Rebecca, she participated in the university's year-long professional development school program. She interned at George Evans Junior High in Bloomington, and she serves the same school today. As a first-year teacher, Ray secured $10,000 to take 145 students on a trip to the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center in Chicago. The visit was the culmination of a powerful interdisciplinary unit. Her classroom is often visited by representatives from local organizations. Together, they chat about career options and the ways the lessons Ray teaches are used by these professionals every day. I'm going to sneeze. I apologize in advance. Ray also serves as a leader in her school and district in the areas of educational technology and positive behavior interventions and supports. Outside the classroom, she has presented at more than a dozen state and national conferences, including Illinois State's Teaching in the 21st Century Conference. In 2014, she developed the moniker #TeacherFurther, and for me that doesn't do social media, that's number Teacher Further, which incorporates the 3 C's of her teaching philosophy: curriculum, creativity, and connections. Her principal had the following to say about her efforts. While Ray is an early career teacher, she has been willing to use a standards-based grading scale and a new gradebook for the entire department. She is consistently thought of as one of the school's go-to people. Evans Junior High School is an innovative school, and Ray is consistently at the center of that innovation. Ray, the College of Education is proud to present you with the Outstanding Young Alumni Award. Please come forward to receive your plaque.
Hi. I promise I will try not to sneeze too. No, thank you for that introduction. I am so honored to be here. I don't think that there is a larger honor than this. As I was preparing for this event, I really began by reflecting on where I came from. I grew up in the north side of Chicago, a north suburb, and I was surrounded by successful and passionate people. Whether they were friends that we treated as family or my outstanding parents, I was surrounded by not only a loving group, but inspired on a daily basis to work at my best. I never expected to excel in education, to be honest with you. I grew up in a wonderful area, but school was challenging, and the thought of going each and every day kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies. Even with the support of an IEP, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't find my niche. And after being tutored for many, 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 many days, weeks on end, and years by my outstanding grandmother, who is and was an incredible educator, I finally went on my first college visit to Illinois State University, and this was my REACH school. And I remember being here with my family. I walked around, we did the whole college preview spiel, and my dad looked over and he's like, "You're gonna go here." I was like, oh gosh, I hope so. I am so fortunate to have attended Illinois State University, and upon graduation, I had developed this strong passion for classroom education to be more than four walls. I wanted educational learning experiences to encompass life. John Dewey, an educational philosopher, once said, "Education is a social process. Education is growth." Education is not preparation for life, but it's life itself, and I could not believe this more wholeheartedly. Therefore, in my first year teaching, I was able to develop a classroom where students were immersed into internships sponsored by local businesses. This method completely transformed my view of the classroom, but also completely transformed my students' impact on their community. I would communicate this as simply best practice by taking it one step further. Connections, and making those connections each and every day to not only our students' careers, but making connections to our students' community, allowed our classroom to transform from just an environment and where we learned to a rich internship that provided purpose for our learning. I'm fortunate enough to say that educators now duplicate this model, this Teach Further model, by simply being able to implement the 3 C's. I've had the opportunity to not only see the Teach Further model in my own classroom, but be able to work with educators all over the nation to make this dream a reality. Whether it's a math teacher that's working with a local pizza parlor and teaching their students about decimals, handshakes, eye contact, holding a serving tray, and all of the pieces that encompass managing a pizza parlor. Or a PE teacher that teaches more than just soccer, but teaches how to host an appropriate press conference, eye contact, how to speak eloquently. This model truly has taken education beyond the 4 walls of a school building and one step further. When I heard I was nominated for this award, I can honestly say that I was incredibly humbled, wholeheartedly incredibly humbled, to be surrounded by all of you, all of these experts in the field. I have so much to learn, and I'm so honored to even be in the same room as you. I hope that this is only the first time we meet and not the last time we chit-chat, because I know I have so much to grow, and I'm so eager to do that. I want to take a moment to thank the people that are here tonight, not only my parents, Jim and Julie Ford, as well as my family, Ann and Jeff, and my outstanding educator colleagues, Andreas and Amber. But also thank my husband, Dan Hewert. He's the only sane one in our family and is essentially the only reason I'm able to give 100% to my students each and every day. Dan, you are the smartest and most kind man on this earth, and I'm so glad that I tricked you into marrying me. Yes. It is truly an honor to be here, and I hope that you all continue to teach further. Thank you.
Ashley Walensky Norton is a talented urban educator who is focused on helping to prepare the next wave of special education teachers. She started her career at Laura Academy in the back of the yards neighborhood in Chicago. In addition to serving students with diverse learning and behavioral needs, she was a member of the school's instructional leadership team. Ashley is also focused on supporting student growth outside the classroom. She was part of a group called the Pink and Varsity Panthers that provided unique social-emotional learning for at-risk students. This work involved getting the kids to experience different parts of Chicago and participate in service projects for their community and school. Ashley was also a mentor for new teachers and student teachers at Laura Academy. Illinois State tapped her for a related position in 2015 as a clinical assistant professor in the Department of Special Education. She also serves as the department's field-based coordinator in Chicago. In this role, Ashley collaborates with cooperating teachers to support and evaluate teacher candidates. Ashley's former mentee had the following to say about her. Not only does Ashley possess the qualities necessary to be a mentor, she inspires her students and colleagues to use their talents to the best of their abilities. Ashley believes in the mission of Illinois State University and holds dear furthering current students' education. She works tirelessly to provide them with as many invaluable experiences as possible as they pursue their dreams of becoming educators. Ashley, the College of Education is proud to present you with the Outstanding Young Alumna Award. Please come forward to receive your plaque.
Not at all intimidating to go last in this group, huh? If my speech has tones of Michael and my dress is remnant to artist, I feel like I'm well on my way to the next goal here, I guess. Much like Ray said too, I'm so humbled to be here, and thank you all so much, especially for acknowledging me as a young alumni still. Because young is not a word I would use to describe how I have felt these days, though. I recently made some song and movie references to my seniors that I teach here at ISU, and they looked at me like, no recognition of that. And then I even caught myself recently saying to them, back at my day at ISU, we had landline phones in our dorm rooms. We would call each other on them, and they were shocked. And, I only graduated in 2007, so I'm not sure what shocked them more, landline phones, or that I used that language back in my day. So it's truly reassuring and appreciated to still be considered young alumni for this. Being back today makes me miss the simpler times of those undergrad days when dinner was a swipe away in the dining center. My friends lived right next door, and Donald Trump was only on The Apprentice. In the 10 years since I've graduated, so much has changed at ISU. But oddly, and note if there's any donors here or Hall of Fame inductees, the College of Education's own DeGarmo Hall appears to have not changed at all in that time. Being back on campus, though, always makes me feel a sense of homecoming. When I did join the staff and come back on this side of it, it was such a humbling experience once again to be with such amazing colleagues that I have that were once my professors that I so looked up to, that I'm still learning from. It's even more special now to then share this homecoming memory with all of you here today. My amazing parents who have been so supportive, who have always done their best. My wonderful husband, I just don't know if I can live up to the introduction you gave to yours, so I'll just say he's wonderful. When I chose to attend ISU, I was the first person in my immediate family and the first person with my last name to ever go to college. When we visited here, it just felt right. It felt like home. I remember looking at my parents and them saying, yeah, you can do this, you can go here. It made that decision to attend ISU even easier. ISU prepared me to be a confident, skilled special educator, and I have had such amazing experiences because of that and have had such pride in continuing to prepare future special educators because it is such a responsibility and such a hard job. The faculty have continued to be mentors to me, like Kelly Apple here with me tonight, who was one of my favorite professors during my undergrad days. The feeling of home has always followed me when I went post-graduation to my first job in Chicago Public Schools at Lara Academy on the South Side. I remember my parents' reaction of, you sure you want to go there and do that and be there? It's on the news a lot, that neighborhood. They weren't so confident. I felt like home there, and those students, that staff, and the time spent developing into an administration there will always be my roots. There I mentored a very special new teacher, Brian, who I especially thank tonight for nominating me for this award. When I was given the opportunity 4 years ago to come back to ISU and help prepare future urban special educators and now pursue my doctorate, it truly feels full circle and like there's no place else I'd rather be. I am home again. So I thank my family, once again, especially my little brother, who's not here, but always let me be the teacher when we played school, and later taught our family how impactful great special education teachers are. My husband, my mentors, my mentees, and all of my students along the years who have taught me probably the most lessons, and the support that everyone has provided during that time. I thank the College of Education, Dean, my chair, for this award once more, and I can honestly say at ISU, gladly, I learn and teach.
So if my wife ever asks where that kind and amazing man went, I'll tell him he was in the room with me tonight. This isn't being taped or anything, is it? On behalf of the college, I would like to congratulate all of tonight's awardees. We are honored you are alumni of our great institution and are exceptionally proud of your contributions to the field of education. If you are planning to stay for tomorrow's homecoming celebration, I would like to personally invite all of you to stop by our tailgate tent for a light meal and refreshments prior to the football game. Tailgating takes place on U-High's practice fields from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Finally, I would like to ask all of tonight's honorees to stay for individual, family, and group photos. In the next 10 minutes, please meet me at the Illinois State Medallion located next to the University Street entrance. This concludes tonight's ceremony. Thank you all for joining us, and have a wonderful homecoming weekend.